They knew they were from this land. Okay, okay. My mother and my father's family. So my father's family, Choctaw, and my mother's family probably is too, or Blackfoot. I got to get some more information on that. Okay, but we are we are the Aboriginal people of this land. So I would appreciate it if you Israelite camps and you politicians stop stealing our land from us. Stop stealing our rights. It's not so much of the land. We don't want the land. They're not going to give us anything. But what we can do is stand up and resist the devil's fake laws, UCC codes, the Christian black codes. I'm putting it all out there. This is another situation. I want to show you how if we unite, or if we come back to our nationality from this land, we can immediately start forcing them to recognize the treaties that they already kept with us, the oath of office. They already promised not to violate us based on the rights of indigenous people, the Peace and Friendship Treaty, and the Constitution, and all the other treaties. We can force them as a people, as one nation, to recognize us as these people. Now, the reason why I'm going so hard on it, because Hosea, first chapter, chapter 10, verse 10, says that they will say that we are the sons of the living God. In all of our captivities. So I would appreciate it if you Israelite camps go back and rethink this. And I'm proud of every one of you young men out there teaching, teaching and bringing their word out, right here, studying, researching, burning the midnight oil. But here, this situation here, where this woman, I think she's Caucasian, but what I'm trying to show you, the benefits from us uniting and claiming our heritage here. The laws are already set in place. I want to show you this woman. I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm going to show you this woman where the school system transitioned her daughter into a male without her permission, right? Without her permission. And the thing about it is, the counselor or the people that spoke for the school was a drag queen, or I don't know how you say that. I'm not trying to insult anybody, because, I know that this is a mental disorder. Gender confusion is a mental disorder. And it was in the DMS. The DMS states that it's a mental disorder. The DMS is it upside down? The DMS states that it's a mental disorder, right? This is what Dr. Umar was talking about. This DMS, all the illnesses, the disorders, and the other mental conditions that the psychiatrists, the doctors use. They use this to identify and to give you a working knowledge. I'm trying to pull this back up. A working knowledge of how the axes are, and the axis and the working of the diseases and the disorder, how you can recognize them, how many axes they have to become a disorder or a mental illness. This book explains all that to you. This is what the APA uses. Okay, so how do I know this? Because this is my major. Basically, the mind side. Third year in college, I went on disability, but my expertise is in the mind part, not the biological part of the brain, but the mind part of the brain. Early childhood development and lifelong development, okay, in adults, you know. So, but anyway, we're going to go to the video. But anyway, this book lets us know that I'm going to show it to you in a minute. I want to get this video out first because in case I can't bounce my screens back and forth when I show you this diagnosis here, this science diagnosis here out of the book. And I want to show you the law that proves that they have no right. They have no right, and we have all the right under going back to our indigenous rights to set the gender in our children. It's not up to the children. The children belong to us. And you'll hear, if you watch the video, you'll hear this drag queen or whatever he said he is. I don't know, and I don't care. He said that the parents cannot be trusted to guide the kids in their gender, and what they're doing, they're going through to the courts, going through the courts and the legislators to try to put a bill out to where they can stop any identification of gender in the classroom. The children just can be whatever they want to be. So and he said, because children are so impressionable, the parent can talk the child into being one sex or the other. And so it's no more your sex or your gender is assigned to you at birth. See what, and that's the only, what I'm saying is that's the only real way to identify a child's gender is through its genitals, right? God assigns that child its identity from birth, and it's our job as parents to make sure that child understand what his gender role is and what's acceptable based on our religion and our social our social will, our social culture. Our social culture, we help the child to understand what's been assigned to him by God, okay, based on his gender parts, right, based on his biological parts. Now they say, oh, that's wrong. No, it's not wrong, because they are doing the same thing in school. You send your child, because the child forms his identity before he gets to school, right? From the age, from birth on up until time to go to kindergarten. That's the time you start working and helping the child to understand what gender he is, whether he's a boy or a girl. But if they take the law, make those laws to where they can reassign the children, because I tell you what, like I said, development is lifelong. They can reassign the children. They're with them over half of the time, or half of their life, half of their most impressionable life. Those teachers are there to reassign whatever culture clues, culture norms they want, to your child. You at home. You don't reaffirm what you have taught them and debrief them from that school when they come home, because you're too busy cooking and sleeping and whatever. But that's the only way you can even make a dent in what they're doing at school to your children. You have to debrief them and reinforce what you've already indoctrinated in them. And why is that fair? Because that's your child. That's your seed. That you set the social standard for them, not some foreign country, some foreign people. The Caucasians come over here and they want to set all the laws up in your land where you already have laws, which is the first 5 books of the Bible. You already have laws. You already have a God. You already have a custom. They took that from us, but the Bible said we are supposed to resist their strength, which is the law of justice. They say the laws they make is justice. Okay, Wisdom of Solomon 2. So we're supposed to resist that and stand on it, even if it kills us. Endure to the end, right? Endure to the end. Even if it kills us, if they kill us and our children for standing on it, then we would have done the same thing they did when they ran out of Europe during the Renaissance. When they did the same thing over there. They said either you be a Christian or we're going to kill you and take your kids. They're doing the same thing. They never stopped. Okay, they are our enemies. So what we have to do is reestablish the law, thanks to Romans. Matthew's, 5 and 17. The Most High Christ said that not one dot or tittle is supposed to pass from the law. So in our mind, in our super egos, should be the law established. The law should be established in our super ego. So whenever they come with something that's not right to our child should get a alarm should go off in them and say, hey, that's not right. That's how the Israelites are supposed to have that law established in their children when they get 12 years old. Bar mitzvah. They're supposed to have that law established in their child, but we don't do it. We don't do it. So we have to reestablish the law. And we can't do it when they're trying to force us to go to their school so they can indoctrinate our children. We have to stand up and say, we don't want your government anymore. You guys have been terrorists to us. We got all the proof. Now we have to stand up and protect ourselves and trust in the Most High that He will deliver us from these giants. Okay? We're going to need some Davids. We're going to need some Davids in this thing. We're going to need some Calebs. And we're going to need some Joshuas. We're going to need some Moseses. The real prophets got to come back. I know y'all say, well, the real prophets are back now, but I ain't seeing it. I'm not seeing it. They wasn't scared to stand up against the wicked doers and ask God to call fire from the sky. They wasn't scared. They wasn't scared to do that. They wasn't scared to go against the dragon. IUIC put out a beautiful video of the Israelite soldier standing up to that dragon. But he needed the power of the Most High. It was a beautiful rendition. And that's the way we all have to be. We got to resist the devil. We can't show any fear. We got to stand up and support each other. We got to come out of her. Okay? So I know you guys probably seen the video. I'm going to show a little bit of it and not much because I'm pretty sure you already saw it. Then we're going to get back to these laws. Let me see. Did I lose? Put my glasses on. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Well, don't look like I'm going to be able to do it. I still haven't figured this thing out yet. So maybe I can get back to it.
Don't know me, my name is Aurora Regino, and I am the mother that filed a lawsuit in federal court against Chico Unified for transitioning my daughter without my knowledge. I'm here today to tell my story so parents and the public know what is going on in our schools. Last year, my 11-year-old daughter was in elementary school here at Chico Unified, and her elementary school transitioned her from female to male behind my back. Shortly before this happened, my father had recently passed away, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer. My daughter was distressed and began questioning her sexuality, so she decided to reach out to a wellness counselor at her elementary school. The day my daughter shared with her guidance counselor that she felt like a boy, the counselor immediately affirmed this new identity. From then on, the counselor continued to have one-on-one meetings with my daughter without my knowledge. During one of those one-on-one meetings, my daughter told the counselor she wanted to tell me about her new identity. The counselor ignored her requests and did nothing to support her in letting me know what was going on at school. Throughout her transition, my daughter changed very quickly, was bullied, and as a result was very unhappy. And because her school kept this transition a secret from me, she was on her own. I'm a busy working mother.
Wait a minute.
They're just like the rest of you. Before this happened,
see, let me go down here. Let me see what we got here. She's going. I want to get these other people in here talking. Well, I guess I'm not. So there was the drag queen and the other people were talking to, but I don't guess I couldn't get them on there. Let me see if I can get back in here. Let's see. Uh-oh. Okay. Gender identity problem is a disorder. Okay. A strong, persistent cross-gender identification, not merely a desire for any perceived culture advantages of being the other sex. So it becomes a disorder when it's not just a desire, a small desire to it's not just a small desire, right? It's not just a small desire. Okay? How did they know? They don't even recognize this book anymore. Why? This particular model here. I think this is 4. This is 4. They updated it and they took this out. Why? Let me go ahead and read the rest of them to you. In children, the disturbance is manifested by 4 or more of the following. Okay? In children, you got to look at and you got to see if they have 4 or more of these criteria here, of these pathologies. Repeated, stated desires to be or insist that he or she is the other sex. The girl didn't say that. She said she feel like a boy. She didn't say she thought she was a boy. Because why? Her parent had already assigned a gender to her. Why? Because of her genitals. She's already been assigned a gender, because of her sex. And, it could have been anything. I think I heard one of the Israelites say it could have been the little girl desire to play the part of the father for the mother, play the part of the man, because the mother said nothing about, you go back and look at the video, the mother said nothing about having a male role model in the house. And she might have felt sorry for her mother and wanted to play that role. And a lot of times we assign responsibility to children by not telling them, they don't. It's not their responsibility. We assign adult responsibilities to children too soon, right? And when we do that, we force them to take on responsibility that their brain can't handle. They might be physically able to do certain things, but their brain can't handle the worry and the cognitive abilities that it takes to play roles, right? But she said she might have been saying, I feel like I got to play this role for my mother. The counselor didn't give her a chance. I'm sure she didn't. And it could have been just a light thing. It might have not been a disorder. It could have just been her feelings, confusing her feelings, and her responsibility to her mother. So one of the major criteria is the axis. One of the major axes to identify whether it's a disorder is that the child repeatedly say, "Hey, I'm a woman trapped in a man's body," or vice versa. Then, in boys, preference for cross-dressing or stimulating females, or let me look down here, or simulating female attire. In girls, insistence of wearing only stereotypical masculine clothes. That's two right there. The little girl wasn't cross-dressing yet, right? Let me hit this button. Okay. So next we see number 3 is a strong and persistent preference for cross-sex roles in make-believing, playing, or persistent fantasies of being the other sex. She said she feel like a boy, but was she acting like a girl? Right? She said I feel like a boy. I was acting like him, but she wasn't. She didn't have the other two. She didn't say she was a woman trapped in a man trapped in a woman's body. She wasn't cross dressing. Right here is the role. She wasn't fantasizing on it. She just said, I feel like it. Now, did they go through these steps? No, because they don't believe in this. They went immediately and started transitioning her. The lady said immediately, because they kept it a secret from the mother. That meant that, they didn't do the full science on it. Okay, and what's this other one? Intense desire to participate in stereotypical games, pastimes of the other sex. Okay, maybe that's how you do it. Okay, so that was that part of it. It's in the book. So you say, well, if they changed the book, maybe they found some more science. I'm gonna tell you what. You can ask Dr. Umar or find out from a doctor that's straight. You can't ask any of these doctors because, these people, if they got us sitting up here thinking that we came from Africa, you think they're going to come with the real science on anything? Okay? So you can ask Dr. Umar. I'm not a doctor. I got 3 years of psychology, But I raised children. I raised my children. My parents, I understood what they were doing, how they were teaching me. And no, it's no science. They didn't do the science and change it. You ask them. So what's the science to your gender disorder? To change this gender disorder and take it out of the DMS. Let me see the science. They can't show you science. They can show you people writing papers, people talking to a child over here, a child over here. They can show you where children kill themselves because their parents. But at the same time, how can they say because the parents was trying to assign them their gender, and they wanted to be something so bad, and they got teased so bad because public wouldn't accept them. But at the same time, we were trying to be godly and assign our children their gender. These devils was in school and on playgrounds and in school clothes halls and at these churches trying to reassign our children their gender against God. So you can't say that it's because the child's parents wouldn't accept them as what they, because like this idiot said, this guy said that children are so impressionable that they would believe what you tell them. So they would believe the truth, especially when the proof was between their legs. Okay? Especially when the proof was in their household, their parents, right? So they're going to believe the truth. The problem is that these devils were in the clothes halls and in the schools and in the lunchrooms and in the churches, pulling up the seat pen. There we go. Oh, that's how you do it. Okay. The rights of indigenous people, right? American Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People. So what did this mean? Why do I need this? Why am I showing this? For the simple fact is, we have the right to assign the gender to our children. We have the right, just like they have a right to reassign the children, because the children, they didn't come with gender already assigned in their mental. The gender was assigned by their sex, by God. Their sex, gender, was assigned to them by God, right? That's what that is. That's what that is. So, you can make up anything you want to make up, but God assigned their sex to them. But now, okay, but now, we have our rights here, human rights. They recognize that because it's right here in, not only is it in the Bible, we know it's in the Bible, but right here, for all you people who say the government has the right to do that, no, they don't. Right here, where it says concerns that the indigenous people have suffered from historic injustice as a result of inter alia, their colonization, that their colonization and the disposition of their lands, the colonization and the disposition of their land, them coming in and colonizing us and forcing us to assemble into their customs and taking our lands to where they governed us in a territory, and disposition us in the land, forcing us to be in a territory where they can control us, their rights to develop in accordance with their own needs and interests. Okay, they realize they've done that to us, right? And then, okay, you need to realize that's what happened, right? So we got to reestablish our law to correct that disposition that they put us in. And then it says, recognizing the urgent need to respect and promote. Not only should they respect who we are, and that goes on. It goes to say they have to respect what law we follow in our religion. I keep reading. Respect and promote the inherent right. Inherent means what your parents left you, your God-given rights. Well, our parents were Israelites. We follow the five books of the Bible and the prophets and Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shai. Inherent rights of the indigenous people. Okay? Our rights on this land is before them. They vow not to overstep and try to govern us and make us force us into their policies. Okay? It says indigenous people, which derives from their politics. We got our own politics, right? Economic and social structure, right? So however we want to design our children, our economics, our politics, then that's up to us. And from their culture and spiritual traditions, histories, and philosophies, that's all in that. That's all in that. We assign our gender to our children based on what God made them their sex to be, especially their rights to their land, territories, and resources. Okay? So it can't get no plainer. We got to start reinforcing. We got to start reinforcing this, man. It's just as simple as that. It's just as simple as that. We got to start reinforcing. We got to get back out here and rethink this thing. We just can't wait on Christ and come back and with the nukes. No. We are the only way we're going to resist these people's laws, because it's going to get worse and worse. And if we just stand around and have talent shows and ride people around on horses and raise up and praise the man, then we're gonna suffer, man. We're gonna suffer. So everybody, you do what you want to do. You want to ride around on horses. You want to get all that YouTube money and those donations, build a big church and live good down here. Let's go ahead and that's fine. But the rest of us need to be trying to get ready to endure to the end, because it ain't so good for us. It ain't so good for us. How can we be parents and overseers of our children if we let them take our children and do them like that, and take them straight to hell with them? You know, the Bible said that when the devil realized his time is short, he's gonna grab as many Israelites and destroy as many of us as he could. And like he always done, he's a big coward. He always go for the children and the women. So you men gonna stand around and watch that and watch your people fall, then you go ahead, but I'm not going to. I'm going to keep teaching and whatever I got to do. I don't want to talk violent, but whatever I got to do, protect my people around me. They could be the 2/3 or whatever. When I see them falling, baby, I'm falling too. I don't care nothing about this life. Why would I care about living in their kingdom? Man, come on. The dollar bill is falling. Everything else is falling. I might as well fall too. Trying to do right. Resist the devil. He'll flee from you. You men stand up and be men, man. Protect your children and your wives and your neighbors. Love your neighbors, okay? Love your neighbors, man. I don't know what to say. That's all I can say is we got to do what we got to do. And we got to love our neighbors. And that don't mean just hollering at them and preaching to them and teaching them the law. We got to unite together. We got to unite together and build that government back up before Christ comes, establishing the law, so we can take the pressure off our people, man. All praises to the Most High.